When parents are surveyed, one of the things that they say causes the most stress on the daily in the school routine is lunches. Now, my kids have gone back and forth between eating at school and having a home lunch, but over the last several years, I have a high schooler and a middle schooler, and they've gravitated more towards packed lunches because they just prefer that over what the school serves. So if your kids buy lunch at school, the average price of that is going to be around $3. Obviously, that varies by grade level and your location, but the meals that I have planned for you today are just $1.56 per meal, and it's going to feed 2 kids for 5 days during the school week. As I was researching school lunch prices for this video, I found this survey done by Deloitte, and I feel like I have a bone to pick with them because who in the heck is spending $4.84 on a peanut butter sandwich, baby carrots, an apple, and cookies? Not sure. All of this was $31.11. And if you want the grocery list in a Google Doc, you can get that in the description box below. Here is everything that I got. I got a box of granola bars for $1.93, some chips for $1.50 each, sliced medium cheddar cheese for sandwiches, some tuna, 4 cans of that. I also got some Black Forest lunch meat ham for $3.76, a loaf of white bread for $1.42, and then some Colby Jack cheese sticks for $3.46. Eggs for $2.72, and then some oatmeal for $1.87, and then 2 packs of muffins at $1.24 each. I also recommend getting the Great Value applesauce pouches because they're cheaper, but my Walmart was out of that, so I got the name brand instead. So here's the meal plan based on the groceries that I got. So I'm gonna go ahead and hard boil all of these eggs. My kids aren't huge breakfast eaters. Sometimes they don't even eat breakfast, but if they do, they want something pretty small. So I'm gonna hard boil all of these eggs. We'll have those for breakfast, enough for 1 kid each day for 5 days. And then I'll have 2 extra that I can make into egg salad for lunch if I want to. And then I'm also going to use this oatmeal. So there's 8 packets in here. Sometimes I like to double up on the packets. It just depends on how hungry the kids are. If you have smaller kids, it's probably not an issue, but if you have, you know, bigger kids or teenagers, you might want to do 2 packets. And then these Martha White muffins, I love these. I used to actually use these packets in college all the time because they were so cheap. I can make a super like cheap dessert after dinner. And then also, if you look online, there's a recipe where you can make these into pancakes. They actually make really good pancakes. So you could do pancakes with these with the hard-boiled eggs, or you could do a scrambled egg. But what I'm gonna do is just make these into regular muffins. You can also make mini muffins, but each one of these bags makes 6 muffins. So you'll have 12 muffins total, 8 packets of oatmeal, and then your hard-boiled eggs. And then the rest of the items are gonna be for lunches. So I'm gonna do sandwiches. This will be at least enough for 2 sandwiches per day for 5 days. And then I'll have an option either to do ham sandwiches or tuna salad. So I got 4 cans of tuna, which I can mix with mayo, salt and pepper, stretch that into 5 sandwiches. My daughter really likes tuna sandwiches. Connor does not. So I am gonna do the ham sandwiches for him. There's enough in here for 5 days of sandwiches. And then also there's 12 slices of cheese. So if you wanted to do a cheese sandwich, you could. I don't think my kids have my kids ever ate a cheese sandwich? I mean, they've eaten a grilled cheese sandwich, but I don't know about just a plain cheese sandwich. But anyway, I'll combine the ham and the cheese for Connor. And then again, I'll have an option for egg salad. And then to go with it, chips. I think these chips are like such a great deal at Walmart. They're on sale right now for only $1.50 a bag. I priced the little bags of chips, and you could totally do those if you wanted to go for convenience. I think they actually have the Great Value brand of the individual sized chips also, but I went with barbecue and cheddar sour cream. This will be more than enough for 10 lunches for the week for 2 kids. And then on the side for the sandwich and chips, we're gonna do a cheese stick. The cheese sticks are the same price at Walmart, whether you get like the cheddar or the Colby Monterey Jack or the string cheese, so get whatever you want. And then this particular box of applesauce, they substituted me. So if you get the Great Value 12 pack of applesauce pouches, it's like $4.97. They didn't have it when I ordered these, so I am substituting the Mott's, but definitely go with the Great Value because it's awesome, it tastes the same, and it's way cheaper. And then lastly, a box of granola bars, and you get 10 in there, so it's perfect for 2 kids for 5 lunches. So I'm starting with the muffins, which are super easy to prep ahead of time. And since these muffins are basically just dump, mix, and bake, they come together so quickly and easily. Since I had 2 different flavors, I obviously mixed them in 2 different bowls with the amount of milk that the bag called for. But if you want want to get 2 bags of the same flavor, obviously you can mix them together and that would be less dishes. I put some cupcake liners into my tin and sprayed those with a little bit of cooking spray. Yes, I'm using Christmas because I didn't have anything else. And then you just want to bake them per the package directions. When a toothpick comes out clean, then I'll just put them on a cooling rack to cool the rest of the way. These turn out so good. They're so cheap, quick, and easy, and they make a really good breakfast. So obviously on the side of our oatmeal and muffins, I'm going to make some hard-boiled eggs. So I decided to try this method that I saw from America's Test Kitchen where you steam the eggs. So like hard-boiled steamed eggs, and then you put them in an ice bath and let them sit. I have to say, maybe my eggs were too new, but this method did not work very well, so I probably would not recommend trying it. The best way I have found to do hard-boiled eggs is in my Dash egg cooker, followed closely by my Instant Pot, but it's always a struggle sometimes to get those eggs peeled. So for our 2 breakfasts, we've got muffins and hard-boiled eggs and oatmeal and hard-boiled eggs. I know it's not a super huge breakfast, but like I said, my kids aren't always big breakfast eaters. When I make tuna salad, I really like to make sure that the tuna is drained very thoroughly. So I typically do that in a mesh strainer. And then once the tuna is drained, I'll season it with some salt. My daughter really likes this Thai chili sauce in with her tuna salad. So I added some of that along with some mayo. Obviously just season it to taste. Add it to a container. I always like to label it and you're good to go for the week. 4 cans of tuna salad will definitely make 5 tuna salad sandwiches. Now, one thing you can do is keep the tuna separate from the bread and then have your kid assemble it themselves. Or you could add like 2 pieces of cheese on there to keep the bread from getting soggy unless you're going to eat it right away. So there's a couple options there. So this will be your easy lunches for the week. I was also able to make up a little bit of egg salad with the extra hard-boiled eggs, but we've got sandwich, chips, applesauce, a cheese stick, and a granola bar. I know my kids would be very happy with this lunch. One thing I also wanted to talk about in this video is free and reduced school lunches. I am of the mindset that every kid that goes to school should get free lunch, and I know there are some states that do that. However, eligibility is based in most states off of the federal poverty guidelines. So here is the chart that details that. Basically, if you're a family of 4 and your annual income is under $59,478, you qualify for reduced lunches. And if it's under $41,795, you qualify for free school lunches. I'll put some resources down below for free and reduced school lunches, but typically you can get an application through your school and they can help you with that. Don't forget to grab that printable Google Doc in the description box below with the grocery list and all of the meal ideas. And if you want to watch a video about how some 1970s budget tips still work today, you can click on this video right here.